Welcome back.
Hello, Lords.
It's been 3 years. It's been 3 years since the Eagles won the Super Bowl today. This day, 3 years ago.
Is that
Oh,
what
everybody.
Yep, 3 years ago. Isn't that crazy?
Candace, when was the last time the Bengals won a Super Bowl? I'm legitimately asking.
Oh, is it shade or
I
is that?
legitimately don't know. You know I don't follow sports that closely.
I think there are about 11 NFL teams that have never won a Super Bowl. That number may or may not be the exact number, but the team that's here in Cincinnati is included in that grouping.
So what you're saying is goose egg.
I'm saying that they've not won a Super Bowl yet.
There's hope. Okay. That's exciting.
Yes.
Brian's got his monocle on.
Okay, so a couple things. I'm sure you have things you want to talk about tonight, but
Go ahead.
Get a real quick rush in the bathroom real quick to like get the hair down. And of course I use hairspray, not Gorilla Glue. That was a whole thing today. I don't know where she found that Gorilla Glue. Was it in the bathroom? Like, that's a hot mess. But can you believe they're reprising this conversation about the Cookout app again on Clubhouse?
Wait, no, tell me. I don't know anything about this. What's going on?
Well, do you know about the Cookout app?
No.
Oh, okay. Lord Jesus. I hope they do not hear me talking about this. So I guess there's three young ladies. They've started an online community, an app called the Cookout app. It is specifically made for women of color. And I believe there may be a component where they lean toward the LGBTQ community. They trademarked their company back in 2019 and have been building this community ever since. And they're really kind of like underground kind of situation and purposefully like building the situation. Another group of people, a few gentlemen and maybe a woman, created a Cookout app in late kind of 2020, like late Q3 into Q4 2020, and started pitching it on Clubhouse to the point where they were like soliciting donations. They also filed for a trademark using the same name. Okay. They obviously weren't granted it. According to like the internet and a little bit of the founder story, from what I'm gathering, they tried reaching out to the infringers, as they're being called, or the ASHI. And
wait, time out.
I could stop because this is probably negative.
No, I love this. This is like The View, it's The View before the actual show starts, but about Black tech. So, the ASHI.
So people who are not admitted into the club or into the Cookout app, like the community, they're called ASHI. And so sometimes, like, that's what I heard. And maybe I'm wrong, okay? So I don't want any heat from Kiki or any of the founders from the Cookout app. I'm just
in the comments. Please keep us honest. Keep us honest. Comment section. Let us know.
So I want none of that smoke. I'm really just trying to work my way through this story. So they tried reaching out to them. The infringers did not reply. Okay. Then on the day that they sent a cease and desist for them to stop using their name. They also wrote, I believe, a Medium post about it, really like stating that they felt as if they were wronged. And I'm certain they felt wronged. I'm not taking anything away from them. So it's gotten pretty ugly on Clubhouse, like the conversations about it. And some rooms include the founders of either side, and some don't include them, and there are conversations happening. If I'm being completely honest, like for myself, it's COVID right now, and it's nice to binge watch, listen to lots of different things. And for me, it's just interesting to hear how people are navigating name changes, right? Like how they really feel about like trademarks and what they really understand, and arguing about things publicly, right? Like there's lots of different ways you can address situations. And, you know, one of the founders, Kiki, said, you know what? I don't care what anybody thinks. I'm building this for my community. We're not trying to be like everybody else. And she was really like, I mean, she used some pretty like big curse words, all of them strung together. And she was on this like clubhouse room with the editor of Philly Mag. And it was just really intense. And so tonight, there were like 600 people in there listening. I was one of the first people to ask a question. And do you know that like that video that's running around where people are like, you know, they're explaining that song Corvette, Corvette, and the person kind of like flinches and they're like, bitch, you know, like that, like, sorry, excuse my words. So they do that. Guys. You know how they do that? And like, so I asked a question and I was like, so, you know, how do people understand like these two cookout apps? And she goes, well, first of all, there's only one cookout app. And I was just trying to ask a question.
You were stirring the pot.
I didn't know. I was asking a question. I was asking a question. Should not have asked the question. I know that now because I'll tell you what. I have gotten no less than 20 DMs or text messages from friends like Candace. Don't do that again. Or like, we were scared for you. Because they've been in other rooms and that's not my target. I'm not their target demographic. I shouldn't have been asking any questions. But with that being said, they're fundraising in that thing too. And so I guess the question is, you know, what's it like being a founder who has a public dispute and then they go on to fundraise? Do they ever get over that? And I'm not saying that they're wrong. Not saying that. I'm certain that with their trademark and everything that they've put forward, if I take that at face value, then they're likely correct, right? But after having a public dispute like that, do founders always come back to fundraise, or do investors really back away? That's my question.
So it's having a public dispute and then resolving it does not disqualify you from getting an investment. The way in which you handle said dispute really sets the tone. So if I find out that someone in our portfolio, and I don't know the situation.
I don't either.
If I find out that someone in our portfolio is using every expletive in a book to talk about another founder publicly, that's just poor decorum. And that's what would make me nervous. If they're handling it privately, like, I'm just going to put this out there. We were in the same room together when I got an email from a company called Wonder, and it was a CBD beverage. And it was not the same Wonder CBD beverage that was created by Tanisha Roberts of Ohio, right?
Right. That's right.
Who was also, you know, queer POC.
Yeah, that's right.
The other founder is not. And their response to me was very, very cordial. It was, you know, we've heard that before. We're actually not the same. We have to figure out some stuff with trademarks. So that to me is a very, very appropriate way to handle that situation. Keep it private, keep it between founders. I don't ever see a situation where I would ever encourage anyone to take that to a public forum like Clubhouse. Not on one.
Yeah, what's interesting is the crowd wasn't all investors, right? And so it's a lot of like just people voicing their opinions, but I don't know. It's a scary place to be where people let the crowd drive the way things should be solved. But I mean, I do understand the founder. So Kiki was very clear. She's like, I'm building this for this group. I'm, you know, probably not going to raise a lot of money. And so I'll probably crowdfund it from my target demographic. And so in that case, we can all just shut up about it, right? Like, I can respect that. I can totally respect that. I just think that it's a learning moment for everybody, like just to look at it and listen and go, how would I solve that? Right? More than anything. Like, I mean, I really do respect the way she answered in saying, like, I wasn't building this for anybody else but my tribe. So, and everybody else can kind of stay out of it. Now, they invited everybody else to it, but it's, you know, it's hard to stay out of it when, like, you can just see kind of like the full, what seems like a train wreck in front of you.
Just quick shout out to Rajiv joining us all the way from Suriname. He does some great work in the past. So
it's Rajiv.
Good to see you. Good to see you.
Hi, friend. That's so cool, Brian.
Probably one of the furthest viewers we've had, I think. You know, we just started asking folks where they're from. But
that's awesome. That's awesome. What else is going on today? Anything special?
Well, interesting founder situation that I dealt with today that I'd love your thoughts on. There's a founder that we love. Let's call her Tina. Tina raised capital from a fund a year ago under some very, very aggressive terms. We all knew they were very aggressive terms at the time. And now Tina is interested in raising more capital. Tina has just discovered that they have super pro rata rights. And this is a very early stage company.
Is it
super pro rata rights? And
so private round real early.
Very early, like sub $1 million revenue, sub. So and Tina was informed by them that they brought her in for a meeting and they did all these financial projections on the board that they only see for the future of this company, her raising another $1.5 million, becoming profitable, and calling it a day.
They're going to let her know.
Now, Tina obviously wants to grow and scale this business. Also, for the audience, it's let's just say it's a brand. And in the brand building world, it requires a lot of capital to really get to where you want to be. And you want to be in the 60, 80, $100 million in revenue mark prior to an exit for this category. And this brand also wants to get into retail, which is very expensive for all. You have what's called net 90 or net 120 terms, which means you're just floating for a season, really, a quarter, before you get payment. You also are responsible for your own marketing and promotional spend once you hit those shelves. Most retailers do not support you financially. Occasionally, they'll give you some sort of in cap or something in like their circular or digital, whatever, but you really have to come out with the cash.
Lexi, I am nauseous because I think I know who you're talking about. Mm-hmm. Tina.
And Tina is stuck. Tina has consulted all of her advisors, and all of her advisors have come back with the same feedback and says, you're in a bad spot. You're in a really bad spot.
That's certainly true.
And you need to have a clear and open and honest conversation with them. One, about goals, because you don't have the same goals. And two, they need to get on board with some fundraising, real fundraising. They also have first right of refusal, like.
Yeah, and this raise has to clean up a lot of those rights too.
So this goes back to something Brian and I and you talk about all the time. Like, Lord Jesus, this fund is more than a fund. What we do for a living is more than just give capital out. We are out here doing some major social justice work. And founders get taken advantage of every single day, most specifically BIPOC and women founders.
In the Midwest.
Oh, God, Jesus, yes. So obviously, we're probably going to donate some time to make sure that Tina can get this stuff cleaned up. And at some point, Tina will be able to tell her story in a diplomatic way to the world and say, you know what? This was the mistake I made. Don't make it for yourself. And really, we as Black VCs have to protect everyone. It's just a lot of work. I feel terrible for her. I really do. It's a good company.
It's a great company.
Better.
Brian, Tina especially wants to hear your thoughts as a founder who's been in some weird relationships with your investors.
Oh, what's here for me? Well, they're not your friends. If they were your friends, you wouldn't have these terms, right? No. So you need to approach it for what it is, an adversarial relationship. And you need to be adversarial until you get them cleaned up and your new round done.
Yep. We'll get it done. We'll get it done. All right. Sorry, Marlon. We had some really great stuff to talk about.
That should be a snippet. We should take that little snippet and put it up separately.
We should.
It's important.
Maybe take out my one curse word. I don't know where that came from, you guys.
You got just a dirty mouth.
It was deeply rooted inside. It needed to get out.
It's just
First Amendment.
When she did it, I was like, Corvette. What happened? Ooh, yikes.
Take us away, man. Or not.
Okay.
Oh, this is Lexi's part where she says what we're doing.
Oh.
All right, folks, let's get the show started. Take it away, Marlon. Or not, you know?
Or not.
All right.
We're a company and a venture capital firm that invests in companies run by women and minorities, particularly when they're away from the coast. Very, very focused on the Midwest. You are watching live the first pitch competition on Twitch, where you, the viewer, have an opportunity to vote for companies that you like best.
So every episode, we have 3 judges, plus you, the audience. You also get to judge each pitch. After each presentation, you'll see a cute little box pop up with a Twitter link for you to vote for if you would invest in the company yourselves.
During round 1, we watched as the startups presented their pitch deck in 5 minutes or less. Then the judges began their Q&A. After we selected viewer-submitted questions for the founders to answer, in the end, the audience and judges had the opportunity to vote in the poll below for the company they like best.
Candace, do you mind if we start?
Oh, sure. Sorry.
Welcome back, everybody. We are at the very last episode of the first round of season 4 of Twitch Pitch. Once again, this is Twitch Pitch, the very first pitch competition live on Twitch, brought to you by the very first VC firm to be on Twitch. Every week, we have 2 companies that compete on Tuesdays and Thursday nights. For the competition, going to the finale, which is next Tuesday, where 3 companies will compete for a $25,000 grand cash prize. Totally non-dilutive, no strings attached. This episode, we have some really great companies, and the show really wouldn't be able to happen without some of our incredible sponsors. Every episode is brought to you this season by JPMorgan Chase. JPMorgan is a global leader in financial services, offering solutions to the world's most important corporations, governments, institutions, and other startups in more than 100 countries. It's also brought to you by the Ohio Third Frontier. OTF works with innovative startup companies across the state of Ohio, making Ohio the destination for tech entrepreneurs. This robust network of resources helps take advanced ideas and turn them into new tech businesses. We're also brought to you by the Hillman Accelerator. Hillman is the very first accelerator in the Midwest, focused on underrepresented founders, and it just happens to be founded by our very own Candace Matthews-Brackeen. What a creepy thing. What a creepy thing.
It worked, though. It was super weird because it made it look like your finger was coming over the side.
So in addition to being a pantomimer, Candace is also the executive director and founder of the Hillman Accelerator. and a co-GP and founder of Lightship Capital, where she's an expert in all things brand building, e-commerce, and CPG. So she should be extra critical tonight. Watch out, folks. We have some CPG companies coming ahead later in the show. To my left, we have Brian Brackeen, who is the other co-GP of Lightship Capital and an expert in all things artificial intelligence and machine learning. So, and I'm Lexi. I lead the investment team, and I'm a nerd for all things health tech and fintech. So I'm super excited for today as well. So let me run it down for everyone in case you're new again. Like I said, there's 12 companies to each episode. You, the audience, have the ability to vote for every company at the end of the round. The very bottom, I'll tell you a phone number to text if you want to vote for the company. And to think about voting, the question really is, would you invest in this company if you could? In addition, the comment section is wide open. Feel free to leave us any comments, thoughts about the companies, and any questions you have. So the format is we meet the founder, we learn about them for 60 seconds, just them as a person, and then we see a 5-minute pitch video from them, and then we open it to Q&A. We ask some questions, and we love asking your questions as well. So anytime throughout the show, drop your questions in the comment box below. We're super excited to have the teams here tonight. It's going to be great. We have 2 really great brands, and we're going to start with our first brand, the team from Bloomi. Hi, Rebecca.
Hello.
Hello.
You're going to get 60 seconds on the clock. It's going to show up in the top right-hand corner of your screen to tell us all about you as a person, what you like to do, and nothing about Bloomi.
Okay. Cool. Hi, everybody. My name is Rebecca Alvarez Story. I am the co-founder and CEO of Bloomi, but I say that most importantly, I am mom of 2. I identify as Latinx, and I think that's really important because all my life I've seen 2 different worlds. I've seen the world of access and the world of no access. So for me, I was really inspired to make a difference and something that really impacted BIPOC people like myself. The reason that I think it's important to call out being a mom is because I am 35. I have 2 girls. I bring a lot of experiences that are really tough life experiences to the table. And I think that's one of my superpowers. I feel like I'm able to take difficult situations and make a lot out of a little. I also feel that it's really important to be honest about being a founder and how hard it is. So for me, I like to get away. I like to go to the coast. I like to just enjoy my family time and having a good laugh.
Hi there. Thank you for listening to our pitch. We are a modern, intimate wellness company empowering women through products and content. First of all, what is the problem we're trying to solve here? Well, for centuries, women's intimate care and sexual wellness has been minimized and underserved. First off, 98% of intimate care products sold on the market today have toxic ingredients in them. On top of that, there is no single destination for intimate care product shopping. Women have to shop at an average of 3+ locations to find what they need. But above all, quality sex content for women is an underserved need. To sum up, women want easier and more reliable access to intimate care products, but also content. That is why we created Bloomi. We are a sexologist-led company that is building an honest, sex-positive, and inclusive community. We improve intimate care for all women via expert content and Bloomi-approved products. Our digital marketplace offers a wide selection of clean products curated by our team of experts. We want to ensure that everything we sell is free of toxins. We actually created Bloomi's Clean Standard, which is the first standard in the industry, and that was featured in Forbes. We want to make sure that the brands we resell meet the highest clean standards and allow customers to shop with a peace of mind. Early 2020, we launched our first manufactured product, Bloomi Arousal Oil. It has been sold out every month since it's been in stock, and we received 99% satisfactory rate from our customers. As I said, we cannot keep getting stuck, and this is why we need more funding. With minimal resources, we managed to organically grow our community to 100,000 women and grow by 300% in less than a year. We are break-even, and our marketplace has a high conversion rate of 5%. With our current traction, we are projecting to be at 2.3 million in annual sales by 2021. Our vision is to become the #1 destination for intimate wellness shopping and learning. To ensure that, we will create a membership model driving our 2 high-margin revenue streams, which are our product and our content. Think Thrive Market meets Masterclass. Currently, we are part of 2 booming markets, Femtech and Sextech. The Femtech market is expected to be worth $50 billion by 2025. As you know, Femtech is closely connected to self-care, with the average woman spending more than $700 a year on intimate wellness items. And I'm not even talking about content. On the other hand, the sexual wellness market is expected to reach $122 billion by 2026 and is growing 30% year over year. We are at the right place at the right time. As far as competition goes, as surprising as it sounds, we are the first movers and we are currently the only marketplace for intimate wellness. Since we started our journey, we've been featured in top publications such as Forbes, Glossy, Refinery29, Well & Good, and more. We also have been nominated as Best Retailer of the Year by Beauty Independent. Our revenue channels are pretty clear. 1, we will create more Bloomi products to solve gaps in the market. 2 new ones are actually on the way and are about to be launched. We will also develop our membership program, enabling our community members to access intimacy experts and product perks. Let's talk about COVID. COVID-19 has shown us that consumers place self-care above everything else in uncertain times, providing for us a unique and timely opportunity. Our sales have actually grown by 55% since February 2020. Let's talk about team. We are a small team of trusted professionals. Both my co-founder and I have worked at companies which have been acquired in the past. Rebecca, the CEO, is a nationally recognized sexologist and social impact entrepreneur. She has been named a Latina trailblazer by Forbes for normalizing conversations about sexual wellness. We also have a team of amazing advisors with leadership roles at global brands. That's all about Bloomi. I hope that we convinced you with our pitch. Please feel free to reach out if you have any questions. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Rebecca, question for you. So can you explain to me a little bit about what you mean by kind of Thrive meets Masterclass? I struggled to wrap my head around that idea.
Yeah, we have tweaked that a little bit since we created this a couple months ago, but basically we want to be a destination that has products and is really fueled by products in a marketplace, but content is also fueling sales. So they both are being intertwined, where when someone learns and gets inspired, they can make direct purchases. And when someone's making purchases, they're being supported with great content afterwards.
That makes sense. And then tell me a little bit about expertise on the team in regards to formulations.
Yeah, so we have a formulator on the team. There's a group of 4 of us that work together very closely on every product. And I'll just tell you a little bit about both of them. So one of them, a formulator, has worked with over 100 direct-to-consumer clean brands. And our clean beauty advisor, she's developed clean standards for some of the best recognized places in the US. So for example, Credo Beauty for makeup, Bloomi for intimate care products, Beauty Counter for certain makeup lines. So there's definitely an expertise, and we want to focus on clean. The other thing that's really important to us is we own all of our formulas. This is why we have in-house, and we also involve the community in making decisions about products. So for example, with our last launch, the community picked the aroma of our massage oil, and that was really fun and a cool way to involve them.
I think some of the larger, really adult sex toy companies are trying to shift their brand toward sexual health and wellness. They started from a place of like pleasure, and now they're moving to a place like of better understanding your body. Top of mind that comes to me is one that's here in our hometown, Pure Romance. What do you think about companies like that?
I think it's important to call out like what is their North Star. A lot of times what's trendy is what companies go towards. But then I also think there's a difference on when you have a unique understanding of a space and you can come from a place of good, and you can come from actually wanting to do good and understanding various self-care topics, or really knowing that pleasure, for example, isn't orgasm centric. I think we're seeing a lot of those shifts as you're getting radical sex educators like myself or other people pushing for accessibility, pushing for really thinking about this as a wellness topic. I think even wellness itself is kind of a trendy word, but I think there is something to say about, yes, it's great because it provides more access to different types of products, but also who's behind that? And is it just a trend, or is it what they truly want to do?
Makes sense. All right, who's up next?
I love your answer about the North Star. It really triggered in my head a word about authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they're not authentic, right? They didn't start in the same place, and are they evolving for the right reasons, or are they evolving for financial reasons, right? Versus, it seems like you're coming from the right place from the beginning, and it's going to be hard for somebody who's not authentic to defeat an authentic brand like yours. I had a question about growth. Oftentimes investors ask, like, where is it going? What's your exit? And I think you did a decent job of kind of showing me that path. But what's the path for the very next step? So after you raise this money, is there going to be like a next round? What do you think you need to do to get that done?
Mm-hmm. That's an excellent question. So we just closed our round yesterday, and I'm super excited because it was drawn out, long and hard and taxing. Okay, but we just closed. So we know the amount we have to work with, and we're going to roll with it. Okay, so I had a range, and we're in the range, and it's good enough. So for me, the next step is I need to get us to the milestone to be Series A ready. And we just raised a pre-seed round, but I don't think we need a seed round. And I say that truly and honestly because we are break even. We were almost forced by design to be bootstrapped and to be super efficient with capital for many reasons. But now I feel like we can really take it to get to the 100K per month, and from there raise our Series A and then grow from there again. Excellent
answer. And I think you just personify one of our main theses at our fund, is that women and minority entrepreneurs, they don't assume there's going to be any more money, right? It's like, I've got to actually make this work. I've got to be break even, or else I'm just not going to do it. And that leads to faster iteration and better companies.
Yes, for sure.
So everyone watching, please feel free to put any questions or comments about Bloomi in the comment section below, and I'll ask those questions in just a minute. But Rebecca, I'd love to hear from you as someone who's fundraised in this space. How did you navigate conversations with investors who may or may not traditionally invest in this space or even understand the market? And what I'm explicitly asking is, in an industry where the majority of these people are cisgendered straight white men, how did you navigate?
An explanation about, like, there's a lot of dudes in this.
So how much time do I have here? I think that the biggest lesson I learned from raising this past round was that we cannot depend on traditional routes only. And so for me, one of the things that was important is opening this up to the community. If we say we're community-based and we're really rolling with like that people making decisions with us, we wanted them to also invest and benefit from anything that we have at the end, right? So we opened up the round, and we did do a crowdfunding campaign, equity crowdfunding. We raised almost 200K on there. And for me, that was a big moment, because it showed me that we're onto something and people believe in what we're doing. But also, we have non-traditional investors too. We do have VCs, we do have accredited angels, but we have, Latina celebrities or philanthropists. We have like an array and a diverse group of investors. And I feel like that's what we had to do, because when I did start off pitching the way that you're taught to pitch, go after the key investors in the space, be able to pitch like the best pitch they've ever heard, be able to speak to your numbers and all those good things. I just felt that they did not get it, to be honest. And my strategy, I pitched to over 100 VCs. And I want to say that I was more disappointed than anything, not because they didn't invest, but because I don't feel like people genuinely tried, or I feel like a lot of times they say they want to diversify their portfolio, but they don't actually back that up. So I pitched a lot of traditional VCs and I had to pivot.
Great answer. Great answer. So for anyone who's interested in finding Bloomi, how can they find it?
So you guys can just visit our website and everything is there. It's thebloomi.com, and all of our social handles are @thebloomi.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Rebecca. Now we're going to get ready to vote. So to vote for Bloomi, Rebecca's company.
Oh, maybe
One more time?
I'm trying to get my hand. Oh, God. Okay, I'm ready now. Let's go.
You're ready. Get ready. If you would invest in Bloomi, text the number 11, which is my favorite number, to 203-408-6432. Once again, text the number 11 to 203-408-6432. Thank you so much, Rebecca.
Thank you.
Great job. Now we're going to talk behind your back. Oh. I'm Lexi. Oh, darn.
What a smart founder who figured out traditional funding may or may not be the way. I'm going to raise this capital in a way that works for me and my company.
That's right.
I love that.
I wonder, so like, look, on Instagram, there's a lot of Instagram kind of sexual health and wellness companies. And they're selling things like arousal oil. Like, I would like to dig into the market right now, like, and see what's actually happening. Because I'm seeing a lot, right? Some things are cannabis infused, some things are just like whatever. And so I guess I need to better understand the market and what she's building, and does the market want an education component to it? That's where I'm a little confused. Though I mean, if I think about, and we talk about this all the time, like the new map, right? Like I get to better understand my nutrition. I think that my generation, and especially those that are younger, they thrive and live to know more about their bodies. So maybe it is important. What do you think about that, Lexi?
I think it depends on her target demo. I don't remember specifically the age group, but I could especially see older women or older people who just happen to have vaginas really being interested in more content to like maximize their sexual and health wellness, because it's not something that was really discussed in the home or in the classroom setting. Whereas like, I think that demographic is really looking for something like that is discreet and not overtly, I don't want to say overtly raunchy, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
That's driven by health and wellness as opposed to driven by, P-Hub.
Yeah.
And I think on the other side of that, I think the younger people who could be interested in this, I think the younger people are really looking for that clean angle of what they're doing. I think a lot of people are trying this, but really creating an entire site of clean products is rare at the least. And to put health forward in that way, instead of just, weird dimethicone products that are shipped over from overseas, that's really important to the younger generations as well.
Yeah, I found it to be, I mean, she's making $40K a month, right? She's obviously figured something out, especially since they launched in, did she say like most of it's been in 2020? Right? I mean, that's no small feat. So, Brian, what do you think?
I'm sensitive because it's not my category. I don't want to be too like, this is the way it is. But I will say one, you always want to bet on a transformational founder. We didn't talk to her very much, but she feels like she really gets it. She's really onto it. I wouldn't have any concerns with her leading an organization that I've invested in. And then two, at this stage, well, I feel like there are a lot of little things that end up being a big thing. There's a lot of little things she's doing right that end up being the whole pie. I think sometimes investors focus on one thing or the other, but it's the totality of her approach that's really, really important. So the education component is important. The cleaning component is important. The community component is important, right? Like you just tie it all together and it truly is differentiated. Though any one of those things itself is kind of repeatable or copyable. So I like it. I think something that firms like ours have to sit and like really dig into and really ask to, give the full Lexi treatment. But there's definitely something there.
Absolutely. And with that said, let's bring on our next founders, the team from Young King.
When you or a loved one has a food allergy, food can be a major source of anxiety, especially when you're not the one preparing the meal. That's where the amulet can help. The Allergy Amulet is the world's smallest and fastest food allergen sensor. With a small sample of food, the amulet can detect whether your allergen is present. We've designed the Allergy Amulet so that it fits into every lifestyle. Carry it on a keychain, wear it on a wristband or necklace, or store it in your kid's backpack. The Allergy Amulet's first-of-its-kind detection platform consists of two parts, the amulet, which is a thumb-sized reader, and a food sampler. Users collect a portion of their food with the sampler, then insert the sampler into the amulet. Test results then appear on the amulet indicating the presence or absence of the allergen. You can also pair the reader with our app to track and upload test results, connect with the food allergy community, and send out emergency alerts. The amulet lets you spend less time worrying, because food should be a source of fuel, not fear.
So firstly, JKI Live. That was not Young King. That was...
We kind of noticed, but it was okay.
It was a vibe, though.
I was just making sure everyone was awake. It was a test.
Yes.
It was part of the show. It was totally intentional. But now,
we love it. Learning new stuff, new
Best
culture.
intro.
welcome, Cora and Steph. So we're going to give you both 60 seconds on the clock. I don't know how you want to split it. To talk about you or you two as people, nothing about the brand.
Right.
All right, so I am a wife, a mother to the silliest, dopest 4-year-old that I know who inspired us to start this company. And I'm a former corporate America leader. I used to work for United Health Group as a vice president for external affairs, where I led our social responsibility efforts and philanthropic investment in communities across the country and globe. I'm known as the forever do-gooder by my husband because I like to align community impact and purpose into my work.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Steph. I like to say I'm the chief intern of Young King because I follow what Cora says, but my background is all in CPG. So normally I'm the expert, but we got Candace on the call, so I'll be number 2 today. But have experience across a wide variety of industries at General Mills, Johnson & Johnson, Coke, and Red Bull as well. So fortunate to kind of go on this journey and build a company for our young Black and brown boys across the globe. So good, look forward to meeting everybody.
Hi, I'm Cora, joined by my husband Stefan, and we're the founders of Young King Hair Care. But before we go any further, we want to introduce you to the toughest boss we've ever had, our son and Chief Inspiration Officer, Cade. Cade was born with a head full of hair, and this exemplifies how we felt when we needed help styling his hair, but discovered there were no clean vegan products specifically created for boys with textured hair. So, leveraging our combined 20+ years of corporate experience across marketing and development, we created Young King Hair Care, a plant-based natural hair care line intentionally crafted for multicultural boys that will soon be available in Target and Walmart. So if we were to ask you who runs the world, most of you would say girls, and you would be 100% correct. The beauty industry is female dominated. from the packaging you see at shelf to the scents and marketing. However, within the past 5 years, we've seen emerging DTC brands address a white space by creating products focused on adult male grooming needs. Many of these brands have been acquired by major CPG corporations. Similarly, we discovered a white space opportunity within beauty because there are currently 0 national offerings for young males, particularly within the multicultural segment. We have a unique opportunity to create a tailored offering for young multicultural males that has high growth potential fueled by 3 large overlapping categories with a total addressable market of $24 billion in kids' personal care. As a result, we see a $3 billion opportunity to address multicultural boys' personal care. Looking at our competitive landscape, we know the adult female multicultural hair care market is extremely crowded. And while kids brands have emerged, they are smaller sublines that were spinoffs of their flagship product lines, primarily targeted for women and young girls. Meanwhile, adult male grooming brands are on the rise. However, there are no national offerings for young males at shelf within the expanding multicultural segment. We are uniquely positioned as the only boy-focused brand to address the category gap and drive incremental growth to the category because of our distinct positioning. Maximizing this great opportunity, we created Young King Hair Care as the first and only natural hair care line for multicultural boys. We currently offer a simple 3-step hair styling regimen featuring our leave-in conditioner, essential oils blend, and curling cream to promote textured hair health and growth, making it easy for both parents and their sons to care for their hair. In fact, 82% of our customers purchase our bundled regimen set, demonstrating the value of having a simplified process and system.
So, since launching as a DTC brand in December of 2019, we've had notable success. In our first year, we're on track to deliver over $500,000 of revenue. Additionally, we've been featured across numerous press publications and garnered notable industry validation, such as participating in the Target Accelerators program, where we are 1 out of 10 brands selected out of 450 of those that are redefining the beauty space for the future. As a result of those relationships and partnerships, we were able to secure a distribution deal with Target and Walmart for 2021. And as we look over the next 3 years, we know that we have the ability to drive an annual run rate of $18.5 million, fueled by our multi-channel business strategy that allows us to be closer and more accessible to our consumers. But outside of the success and validation, the thing we've been most amazed about is the amount of young kings and parents' lives we've been able to impact in such a short period of time. Moms like Dina, who represents one of our over 100 plus 5-star reviews on our site, that talks about having a product that's specifically tailored for her sons that works, but also really something that also represents them in an industry that's often neglected them. But for Young King, it's broader than just hair care. We have an ambition to celebrate and elevate all Black and brown boys across the globe that remind us of our son, Cade. Our ambition is to become one of the leading multicultural and personal care brands in the world. But in order to make that ambition a reality, we need your partnership in our $1.5 million seed round, which will help us drive an operational runway of 18 months, will allow us to drive that brand awareness to fuel our consumer acquisition, while also expanding our DTC and retail partnerships. Lastly, we'll also look to expand both our portfolio and our team to better meet the needs of our consumers. So, in closing, if you believe that multicultural boys deserve tailored offerings, especially given today's environment, we'll hope that you'll join us on the journey of redefining male grooming for the next generation. We are
Young King Hair Care.
That was so good.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
The 2-person pitch is very difficult to pull off.
Yeah, we get a lot of practice since we're clearly around each other all the time.
Yeah, it helps to be married every now and then.
I know all about it.
We're there with you, fam.
Right.
Okay, wow, Lexi's undefeated. So, great company to end the season with, right? I have a lot of questions, and you can decide which one of these you'd like to answer on, video today. If you want to answer some of these offline later, I totally get it.
Okay.
So where in the country are you guys?
So we're based in Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay, cool. Home of Bevel, right? Cool.
Yeah.
Owned by Procter & Gamble. That's here in town.
Yeah. Tristan's a good friend. We like him.
Awesome. Can you tell me a little bit about the scents, the smell?
Yeah, so before we even developed the products, we actually surveyed and interviewed about 100 parents of boys to understand what would really resonate with them. And we narrowed that down to a citrus scent. And did focus groups even afterwards once we had that product developed to really test and make sure that that scent felt most comfortable for them and really represented them as a boy. We always joke that we didn't want our son walking around smelling like Egyptian musk, but we also didn't want him walking around smelling like peaches and berries. So we think we landed in a really nice spot with this kind of citrus fragrant and scent.
Perfect. Yeah, it's really a struggle when my boys, I have 2 boys, they're 12 and 13. And, you know, they have this like conversation at school about their own personal hygiene, and they're given this little bag and it's got like Old Spice and Axe in it. And you're just
Right.
like, you're 12.
Right.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Any sense at all. So continuing down that same thought process, where are you, tell me a little bit about how you're doing your formulations. Is that being done in-house or out of house?
Yeah, definitely. So we actually work with a co-packer and manufacturer that was one of my classmates at Kellogg that has worked with us to help develop our product line. So we do not fully own our formulas now, but we're on a path to ownership. But we have an exclusive partnership for everything that we do create together that it is exclusive to the brand. So it's been a great process to really go and define. I think one of the things in being in marketing and in my background, it was a focus of not to rush a product out. Obviously you can have a great brand, but it's also does it deliver on the promise of the brand. So we actually spent 15 months developing a product before we launched because we didn't see anything. And as we were going through iterations, it didn't feel like it represented what we wanted for our son. So first and foremost, is always get the product right. And then from there, you can go in and bring it to the market. That's
absolutely right. How close were you able to get to your revenue projections for 2020? Were you able to hit them, exceed them? Maybe it was a little short. Tell me a little bit about that.
Oh, funny story. So we actually ended our first year of business with sales of over $330,000. We were on track when we recorded that video. We were tracking to hit that $500,000 goal, but we actually ran out of inventory. So there was a lot of tailwinds that were happening from a social injustice standpoint and everything that was going on, outpouring of support for Black-owned business. So people found out about us, and they found out about us in a big way, so much so that we had what we thought enough inventory to carry us for 6 months. Ran out of that in about 4.5 weeks. And with COVID and production and the global bottle shortage, I can go on, we were out of products for 2 months. So that definitely slowed down sales. But rest assured, we have that covered for this year and have planned and second plan and a third plan to make sure that we do not end up in that same situation again.
That's awesome. And I'm going to ask one more question. Tell me, I think it's genius that you have a 3-step system, that there are kind of just 3 separate products. They can just go boom, boom, boom and work through the system. Tell me how that works for different types of hair.
Yeah, so our products are specifically formulated for type 3 and 4 hair. So we're looking at curly, kind of kinky and coily hair. So across type 3 and type 4 hair types, they work great for. We always say, our products follow the lock method, so liquid, oil, cream. So in utilizing that method, depending on kind of the hair type and your texture, you can kind of reverse whether you use the cream before the oil or the oil before the cream to really make sure that you're getting that level of moisturization that you need for your hair. So for us, we were very specific in the hair type that we wanted to create and formulate our products for. And so that's why our products work primarily for type 3 and type 4 hair.
Yeah, and I think the biggest gap that we want to address is you think about as males and as boys, as you can see, it's been a while since I had a little hair, but it used to be the default of, hey, we're just going to the barbershop every week and getting your hair cut off. Right. But if you look about how boys and how men are showing up today, they're wearing their hair in a natural state, largely defined by, the women that have helped to pioneer that. So the lack of education about how to actually treat and take care of your hair is not there in the male community. So that's why we really wanted to go with a very simple based approach, right? Something that can help to close that gap as they're being more comfortable with doing their hair. And then now we've actually, since recording the video, actually expanded the portfolio to include our wash set, which also has a shampoo and conditioner in it as well. But wanted to keep it extremely simple for the group there.
Wow. Steph, I'm going to say two things. Your mother must have been an amazing woman, and that your
Yes,
wife
she was.
is probably, like, I can tell already that she's amazing. But there were a few things you said in there, which were that really Black women led the way toward this natural hair care trend, is I guess what you can say it's now. Really have helped young Black men to better understand their natural hair state. So cool state. I love that.
Surrounded by good women. I can't complain about that.
So many things. But one, you guys are doing a ton right. I'll say this: when you guys are pitching, the good news is investors have heard the same story from a number of Black founders about just being inundated with orders this year, and so no one's going to blame you for that. No, like we know that these are good things, and it was last 2020 was both like one of the worst years for folks, but also one of the best years for folks at the same time.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So you guys are in that bucket, and investors will understand. So I just wanted to kind of assure you of that. The other thing is on things like the bottle shortage, same thing. Everyone got hit by that. China shut down. Nobody could get anything. Didn't matter how much time you spent on the phone. Didn't matter how much time. Right?
Living my life.
We tried.
3 a.m. Like, come on, guys. I just need a couple. Just
give us anything.
I was washing bottles in the house.
That was everybody. Again, no one's going to blame you for that. So it just shows how that spark of awareness is exactly what you guys know as marketers. Like, that's exactly what you need forever. It's the awareness that matters, right? Like,
exactly.
As soon as they know who you are, as soon as they can get it in stock, you're gonna be able to find them again.
Yeah.
But the awareness is harder to do than anything. So
and I think it just goes to the premise of what we stand for. And I think, the biggest thing for us is like, especially in the Black community, is like representation matters so much, right? And we just think about, we always say, like, while we do say a hair product, it's all about really uplifting Black and brown boys and that ability to show them in a real light where normally in society we don't see men like that, and we don't see our boys like that. So I think that really really manifested itself with other parents that saw their boy and then saw their sons to say, like, yeah, you know what? I never realized they weren't being shown or they weren't given the products to be their best self or authentically be themselves. So for us, that's where the bigger mission, and that's where we get, satisfaction. It starts with our son, but ultimately, like, glad that we can give that same level of confidence to other boys as well.
In starting this company, one thing that I thought about when I was walking the aisles and Googling products for my son was this idea that I firmly believe that you should see yourself in the products that you use. And so I wanted my son to be able to walk down any aisle, any store, look online, and be able to find products that felt like they were made for him. And so that's what started this whole journey. If you would have asked us if we would have been entrepreneurs, we probably would have told you no. We were, doing our corporate jobs, climbing the ladder. But if it wasn't not for our son, and this whole notion of just representation and what that means for Black and brown boys, that's why we're doing this thing.
I got another sentence for you. This isn't a question, but a comment, but hopefully it will continue to help. Finding a product that has your son represented in it is important, right? That is like your why. You did that also even in your pitch. So by using him on the front, and you see Candace was like, oh my God, like, it's like, that is definitely a good, strong hook for investors or anyone that's looking at your materials as well. So double down on that, keep doing it. It matters. And we talk a lot about, and these guys are tired of hearing me say it, using the limbic system to impact a neocortex decision-making, right? So use emotion to impact their kind of rational thoughts. So they won't worry about what's the price per ounce? Is it on sale? We don't want to think about that, right?
Right.
About, I love the brand. I love what it stands for. I see myself. I see my child in it. and I'm going to pay whatever it is to pay, and I'm going to buy as much as I can. I'm going to tell my friends about it. You guys are doing a good job of that.
Yeah, thank you. We appreciate it.
And my question's a quasi question. I really just want you to double down on something you said earlier, but I don't think comes across super strongly in your pitch. Tell me both of your backgrounds. It's very important for what you do, and you guys have incredible backgrounds to run this company.
Thank you. Well, I am a former VP, so Vice President of External Affairs for United Health Group. So I worked with them for about 7 years and led our social responsibility initiative. So essentially, how are we making community impact and really addressing, because I worked for a healthcare company, addressing really critical health challenges and needs across the country and abroad. And then before that, I actually worked in education and did operations for one of the first charter KIPP schools here in Atlanta. So again, Steph always calls me the forever do-gooder. I'm always trying to find purpose in the work that I do and really align that with community building and what I'm passionate about.
And then for me, it starts with people, right? The reason why I got into business and ultimately into marketing is the psychology of people, understanding what motivates them, what brings them to life. And I just always love that creativity. So, I'm a proud HBCU alum, so I graduated from Morehouse in business. I worked in sales at IBM for 3 years, went back to business school up at Northwestern at Kellogg, knowing that I always wanted to work in brand. So from there I've been fortunate across my career to work on both billion-dollar brands. We're working on like Nature Valley and Progresso, to also working on, small and innovation brand like Larabar and Cascadian Farms. So my wife at the time got cold, and then we moved back to Atlanta. And then I had the chance to run Sprite for North America at Coca-Cola as well. So, I've been fortunate to see brands that have had those long-lasting legacies and had that authentic connection. And it just ties into who I am as an individual. So, we always say that we learned a lot on how to start small, but we, because of our corporate experience, we've also always known how to build and scale a brand, because that's where we usually have had our corporate responsibility. So it's a unique point of view that's helped us out a lot in this first 14 months of the company.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. And everyone watching, please remember, feel free to throw any questions you may have in the comments. I'll say I don't see any questions yet, but a lot of love for Young King Hair Care. People seem very excited about it. So quickly, to vote for Young King, if you're interested in potentially investing in this company, text, here's what we're going to do. We're going to flip it. Okay. Remember this one? Text the number.
I don't know if I'm doing it right, but it works.
I'm not even going to do it.
We fail at this.
I just need a piece of paper.
12, 203-408-6432. Use whatever hand symbols work for you. The number 12. You could probably do like a. I don't know. I tried. So once again, to vote for Young King, text the number 12 to 203-408-6432. And for everyone in the audience, how and where can they find Young King if they'd like to buy it for their child?
Yes, so we're at youngkinghaircare.com. We also recently launched in Target. So you can find us in select stores across the country in about 350 stores and online. And then our Instagram is at Young King Hair Care.
Target. Nice.
Everybody loves a good Target run.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, team. Brian, what are we going to do next?
Now we're going to talk about your back.
Okay, we'll bow out now. Thank you.
Thank you guys for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Candace, I know you have all the thoughts, so let's hear them.
Brian and I have gotten a lot of feedback over the last, I guess we've been married 2 years now, over the last 2 years about being married and being in business together. And I don't know, I feel as if it creates a chemistry when you're pitching your business that no one else can beat, because it's like having, two halves of the same brain, and you're just one person can answer when someone has to fill a gap. Like, so I saw that happen between the two of them, and that was really, really cool to see. I don't know, like there's a lot. This is such an important thing. And there's a market failure here, right? Like we talk about market failures all the time. The market has failed young Black men in their hair. And if we know Black women, we spend a lot of money on our hair. So I'm going to safely assume that Black men probably spend a similar, not the same, but a higher amount than their majority peers. Just simply because our products tend to cost a little bit more for some reason. I'm not sure what sort of systemic issue that is, but I love that they're kind of filling a hole in the market. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. If I think about entry point products, like, you know, when you're a young girl, you use the products that your mom gives to you. And then you kind of grow and progress into other things. So like for a lot of young women, majority women, their first shampoo of choice is like a herbal essences, and that kind of gets them into a system. And I can't, and really for boys, once you get to like a teen, you can wear like Axe and some of those other things, but like, what is there for young boys? And Brian and I have talked before. I have a weird fascination with young boys and deodorant. Maybe just based on my own life experience. If my children ever see this, they will die. But I think that it's necessary that we start building things for younger people and not just try to kind of like fit them into adulthood too soon, right? They should be allowed to be children. That's why I asked the question about scent immediately, because like, what should a young boy smell like? Should he smell like a man? No, he should smell like a young boy. And I'm glad that they're addressing that through the sense that they're using for not only the shampoo system that they're building, but then the 3-step system as well.
Are you saying you don't want your boys to smell like Blue Magic or jam?
No jam. My kids in jam, first of all, they would look like grease nuggets, but yeah.
Some nights Lexi's really on fire. Some nights, you know, like the jokes just come to her. This is one of those nights. Man, I mean, I think Candace, she said a lot there, and I deeply agree with it. I don't want to just say all the same things, but they do have great chemistry, and that's important. They feel like their roles are very different, right? And they seem to complement each other. Their backgrounds are different, seem to complement each other, right? And they have the problem. They had the problem themselves, and they're solving their own problem, which you always want to see. I struggle when people are looking for a problem to solve versus one that they've experienced. And because again, authenticity matters, and they have plenty of that. So I don't think this is much different than what Candace was saying, but I'll just say that it's a completely interesting company. One more thing, one of our Hillman companies, Excited, talks about how they make products for gay men, amongst other things, and talk about how the scent profile for a gay man is different than a straight man, and they have been underserved, right? This is no different, right? The scent profile and the products and the things that go in those products probably should be different for children, for young boys, right? And whenever you can do that, you'll do well.
Absolutely. I'm going to be the devil's advocate on this one. Anyone who's watched the show long enough or knows me personally knows I have a little bit of an apprehension about married teens, and I understand the hypocrisy of that given where I work. I'm well aware. But I do sometimes get nervous. And the reason why I get nervous is when you're making decisions at the board level or just having conversations with the founders, it's always 2 heads against 1, which sometimes is useful and sometimes it's not. So there's just like, you're never going to have a situation really where one founder is going to vote one way and the other founder is going to vote the other way. Generally, it's not going to happen. So I have a little bit of apprehension about that. It's not a disqualifier. Haute Hijab, one of my favorite portfolio company actually, is founded by a married team, but they've also been doing this for 10 years. And I felt very good about that. They've been working together for a very long time. There's also a very clear hierarchy about who leads the business, with Melanie taking the charge there. And the other thing, to play devil's advocate, is I love the brand, I love the mission, I love the story, but also those of you who know me know that I like IP a lot.
That is the scary part here, and I think it's not insurmountable. Go ahead.
I like to see companies that have some sort of proprietary formulation or some sort of secret sauce where P&G tomorrow couldn't spin out one of their cute little new brands to do the same thing. What is it that they're building in the formulas that they hopefully will own that no one else can do? And that's a personal point that I get hung up on quite often when I see brands.
You're not wrong. And I'll just say for the folks at home, Lexi interviewed us before we interviewed her for this job. for those same reasons.
It was a mutual discussion.
She lives it. She don't just say it. She lives it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Overall, yeah, tonight was a great night. Today was a great night. I loved it. Two really, really strong companies.
I agree. Not only has it been a great night, it's been a great season, everybody. This was it. This was the end of round 1. How crazy is that? So everyone watching, tune in on Tuesday for the big finale. On Tuesday, we'll unveil who are the top 3 companies that'll be competing for the $25,000 grand prize. What they'll be doing, you ask? They'll probably be doing some sort of a quick product demo if possible. And we're just going to ask a few more questions to really help solidify where we stand for voting. So to wrap that up, the way we vote is the audience, you all get a vote for who gets to the finale and who wins. Also, Brian gets a vote, I get a vote, and Candace gets 2 votes. Candace is our chairwoman in chief. So she leads the pack in our actual investment committee, and she leads the pack here as well. So we're super excited. Please stay tuned to Tuesday. Continue to vote for your favorites, and we'll see who wins then. Thank you again, everyone, so much for joining us tonight. Thank you again to our fantastic sponsors, especially JP Morgan Chase. We love you. We love Ohio Third Frontier. And the Hillman Accelerator is the greatest accelerator that's ever existed in American history. So thank you again, everyone, for coming. That's it for us. Feel free to stay tuned. In a few minutes, we're just going to talk a little bit, have our Oprah TED Talk moment again, and we'll see you guys on Tuesday.
I have that song from Dora the Explorer in my head, that we did it. We did it. We did it.
We did it. You want to hear something embarrassing?
What?
I used to tour as Dora for elementary schools.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I used to do like a little 30-minute show when I was in high school and college.
Did you have a purple backpack?
I did. I had a whole backpack. And the best part of this is, you guys know I don't speak any Spanish. And so I would like write the Spanish words on my hand so I made sure I didn't mess it up. But yeah, that's how I paid some bills back in the day.
Is there a video of this anywhere?
Probably, and I won't show you if I find it.
Oh, darn. Oh, darn. Okay.
I just need, again, I need the light ship talent show. Would be so fire if you just brought somebody's skills to the show.
We should stream it on Twitch.
Yeah, I mean, I've got, if I'm being honest, like within arm's reach.
Are you going to do your ukulele?
I've been working on it this week. And so, yeah.
Let's do it. Let's hear a few chords.
But yes, I've got it out here in these streets.
Encore, encore.
Uh-oh. Sorry, fam. Okay, Lexi, I have a question.
Answer.
Do you happen to have handy the spreadsheet so we could talk about who was on this season?
Oh, I can pull it up.
I would just like to I can go through my notebook because I definitely have everything in here, but I'd have to go through it slowly.
Mm-hmm.
Just so they can be top of mind. We got to turn these in.
Yeah.
Turn these in and turn them around.
Absolutely.
Holy
So,
boy.
I think we started with
Santori, and yeah, and then we moved on to Cochina 54. Then there was that really cool company with the math that make music count.
And then Level Up was on that episode.
Was also, all right, who was after that?
Then we saw Cariosoft and Spellbound.
That's right. That's right.
And then we saw Therapy Medical and Wilson Adaptive.
That's right.
And then we saw Staff Up and the Harambe Collective.
And then these last two companies. Okay. Ooh, this is tough. This is tough. Okay, here we are, fam. We got to pick 3.
Everyone should just tweet us their favorites.
Yeah, that's what I would like to know. Wow, pretty fun. Pretty fun. How much time is between seasons this year? Or these next 2?
Our next season begins in dramatic pause. Our next season begins April 6th.
Oh, nice. Nice.
So for anyone watching, now is the perfect time to send in your pitch video if you'd like to be on the show.
Or tell your friends too.
Tell your friends, share it in all of your groups. If you're in the Harambe Collective, share it there. If you're in Level Up's community, share it there. If you're in the Bloomi community, share it there. Share it everywhere. Every season this year, the prize is $25,000. And we have something really exciting planned for the end of the year that we have not announced yet. But let's just say you're going to want to be on the season.
You're definitely going to want to do
You're going to want to do it. So it's going to be great. So it takes just a couple of minutes. You can film it in Loom, which is totally free. Or you can film it in Zoom, which is partially free. Hashtag not sponsored. And then you just download it and send the video to me. Pretty simple. If you have any more questions about it, you can go right to our website, lightship.capital. There's an entire page dedicated to Twitch Pitch. There's a ton of FAQs, and you can continue to binge previous episodes here on Twitch and on our YouTube channel where they're all archived. So you've got a couple of weeks. Get them in as soon as possible. Can't wait to see you on the next season.
Love it. All right. Well, a strange thing, just like every other night this week.
You got an 30?
I got another meeting. No, it's not until 9, you know.
Okay.
Ohio Clubhouse action tonight. So
there's a question in the comments.
Great distraction from that comment. What stage do you prefer the startups to be in regarding traction? So we've seen everything on this show specifically, from pre-revenue to companies doing $1.5 million in revenue. So for this show specifically, it's really about the best pitch, the best business model. Traction is not considered in terms of judging for this show.
Fact.
But we do require that you be incorporated at that point. So it can't be just an idea. You do have to have at least some sort of business incorporation already established. And that's just so we can give you your money in a not creepy, illegal way.
Perfect.
Anything else? Any other questions? If there are no other questions, I think we take it out for the night. Thank you everyone again for stopping by. It's been lovely as always. And we'll see you guys right here Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern for the finale. Can't wait.
Love it.